Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of the WEXP Sports Show. As of last week, we are now on air, so we are on Spotify and YouTube. I am your host, Aidan, and I'm joined again by Brayden and Colin Bauer. Guys,
what's up?
What's up?
Good to have you guys back.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's nice that we're finally doing this, and it's not just being talked about in the group chat.
Yeah.
So the best way I thought to start this episode, since there was a pretty big game played, was with the Super Bowl. 49ers beat the Chiefs 25-22 in overtime. Patrick Mahomes is named the Super Bowl MVP for the third time in his career. The Chiefs have won their third Super Bowl in 5 years, so they're now officially a dynasty. And the 49ers have now won their last Super Bowl since 1994. They made it 3 times since and have lost all 3. So a lot to get into there to start out. So I think the best place to start is the actual game itself. What did you guys think of it?
I thought overall it was a pretty good game. I thought it going overtime made it way better, more entertaining for sure. The first half it was a bit, I wouldn't call it slow, but I mean at times it was not the greatest, but it was just good back-to-back gameplay. But I think having it go in the overtime was better. But I think overall, I don't think it was anything like write home about, and it was one of the craziest Super Bowls ever. I think it was a good Super Bowl, but I don't think it was anything special.
I think personally I wanted the 49ers to win rather than the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have won so many years, and I just kind of want to see a new team win. But I don't know, I feel like San Francisco kind of made some mistakes down the end that kind of hurt them. So it kind of put them in a bad spot, and they weren't able to really come back from it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that point. But Brayden, I have to disagree with you. I have this as the second best Super Bowl of all time.
I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of crazy.
Well, so here's here's my
everyone's
thinking.
got their own opinions of it.
Yeah, so my thought of this is that this game went in overtime, super close to the fourth quarter.
Yep.
The main reason that I have it so high is the overtime thing, the fact of how crazy the ending was, and that's what people remember about Super Bowls. So my personal all-time best Super Bowl is the 2007 Super Bowl between the Patriots and Giants. Completely forgettable outside of one series by the Giants, which changed the entire trajectory of how we remember that Super Bowl with the David Tyree catch.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, having it go to overtime did make it way better. But I mean, it's my only thing is like it doesn't beat the Seahawks, Patriots on the goal line. Instead of running it, they throw it, interception, Malcolm Butler. I mean, there's just some games. I mean,
doesn't beat the Eagles Super Bowl.
Yes,
Eagles Super Bowl.
Yes, it does.
No, it
doesn't.
Yes.
And there's definitely bias in us saying that, but it's. I can't see it being a top.
There was no defense in that entire Super Bowl outside of one play. And Nick Foles throwing a couple of interceptions. It doesn't mean... No, I am going to be...
It's beautiful.
It was a great Super Bowl. And objectively, I have it as a top 5 Super Bowl. I have it at the 4th best Super Bowl behind 28-3. I don't think anything passes that.
Yeah, that's it. And how is that... How is this last Super Bowl better than that Super Bowl?
Because this one lasted 5 overtimes and lasted the entire quarter of overtime.
Oh, it's just... But it wasn't like... I don't know. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's only really you saying it was so crazy.
I think I am the only person saying it. I'm fine being the only one alone saying it.
Like,
I think it's one of the best Super Bowls of all time.
Yeah, I mean, it's everyone's got their own opinion. But
one thing I kind of want to bring up, I've been seeing on social media about San Francisco is, I mean, I don't really know how true it is, but a lot of people think their head coach was drunk at the media day.
Shanahan?
Yeah. So,
I saw a video about that.
So people think that, he might have been, not all there during the game. And
I don't think that. I don't know about that. I don't know.
I don't see that happening, but,
no.
Shanahan he's not an idiot like that.
No.
He's not stupid. Shanahan's a good coach. They wanted to win. I'm sure he took every single precaution he could to be ready for that game.
Yeah. No, he didn't, because if he did, then the 49ers would have known the overtime rules.
They didn't know the overtime. That was funny, man. When I saw that, they didn't know the overtime rules.
I don't think they were as prepared as they should have been.
Well, obviously, if they were prepared enough, they would have won.
Well, so it comes down to that, yes. But I don't think that they prepared for the nitty-gritty stuff that the Chiefs did because the Chiefs have been there already. For example, you have to know the overtime rules. I know that they just changed, and we haven't really seen them since the change. You got to know the rules.
I even knew the overtime rules.
Yeah, most people did. The second thing is that the Chiefs won on the same play that they ran last year twice against the Eagles.
Yep, what a great play.
How can you not be ready for that?
No, you had to be ready for that. That was, on their part, bad. But, I mean, I think overall, I definitely don't think he was drunk there. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, because even reflecting on the Eagles last year, so many things should have done differently and should have prepared better in many ways. But, yeah, they should have prepared more for that game. I think honestly, they thought it would be, I don't know. I was going to say maybe they thought it was going to be easier than it was, but no, I don't think they would.
I don't think so either.
I mean, what do you think went wrong for them, Aidan? Like, what went wrong for the 49ers in this game?
So, there was a couple of things. They definitely went away from the run for a little bit, which has always been a knack against Shanahan when his teams have the lead, is that he doesn't...
Yeah.
He's not consistently good at managing the clock.
Yeah.
The McCaffrey fumble at the beginning of the game really hurt them because they could have scored a touchdown there. They had complete momentum. At that point, they were gassing the Chiefs' defense. Can't fumble there. Other than that, there wasn't anything that really stuck out until overtime. You knew this was going to be a close game. You knew that there was a chance that this game could go into overtime. Mm-hmm. It's just at that point, I felt like that there was mistakes that were made that came down to not being as prepared as your opponent.
Yeah, well, like one thing I'm gonna say is like a pretty big story is the whole Brayden Ayuk thing, not giving him the ball enough. Yeah. And now, did you see that his brother, what he posted?
I didn't see that.
His brother posted something. I forgot what it was word for word, but I remember I saw it because Pat McAfee was talking about it. It was talking about see ya later Niners. Let's go to Vegas or something stupid. And then Brandon Ayuk, I think, did a bunch of emojis in his story. I don't know. It was something pretty stupid, but I mean he barely got the ball, and that's arguably their top receiver. I mean, he's had 2 back-to-back years that he's shown he can be a number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have Debo, but to not give Brandon Ayuk the ball more, it's crazy to me. He's such a good player, and he's a game changer.
Another thing that I was kind of shocked with, so I'm sure a lot of people did sports betting and they had a lot of money on the game. So a friend of mine actually needed George Kittle to have at least 4 catches in order to win, and he had, I think, maybe 1 or 2. So I don't.
He had 3 catches at the end, Kittle.
Oh yeah, so he had 3, but that's still, I feel like considering how good he was a few years ago, I feel like that's not that's kind of low for him. I kind of expected more from him.
He didn't get hurt.
No, it was just didn't get the ball.
Yeah,
I mean, they were guarding anything they could on him because you can go.
Yeah, he was also hurt. He hurt his shoulder in the middle of that game too.
Yeah, he did.
So he got taken out. So
he did.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only for a couple plays, and it wasn't that noticeable.
Yeah,
but he was definitely, when it comes to the fact that he was beat up, the fact that the Chiefs had a really good game plan against him, I think that there was just too many factors to take him out of the game. And I thought the Chiefs are a dynasty now.
They are.
For a reason.
Unfortunately, they are. But I mean,
can we talk about the parade?
I mean,
I know there's not much to
talk about.
The only thing,
Colin.
Only thing I want to say to that, and I wanted to start with it and sort of forgot since we jumped into this, but thoughts and prayers to everyone that was injured, that was there.
Such a crazy thing that happened.
The Chiefs players and the story of Andy Reid stepping up, it shows how connected these guys are with the community. The only other thing I want to say, there's so much conversation that's going to be happening at this point, but we just need to remember that football is a distraction to everyday life.
Yeah.
And there's going to be times where everyday life overlaps with sports. And it's good to see these athletes realize that and sort of disconnect from the celebration that they had to really step up for their community. I'm sure they will keep stepping up. So only other thing I want to say is thoughts and prayers to everyone, because that is just a really, really sad situation.
Yeah, it's horrible.
For everything that happened. And it does take away from the game and the conversations that are going to keep happening, because, look, whether or not we want to admit it, Chiefs are a very, very good team. And all the conversations that we had last week about...
It's scripted.
No, there's definitely people that think that. So I have to say, my favorite part about the Super Bowl is every time I go to a Super Bowl party, there's always those like 2 or 3 people that are like, oh, I'm not here for the game, like I'm just here for everything around it.
Yeah,
but then by the end of the night, they're the ones more upset. Like I went to a Super Bowl party, and it was the first one that I had been to that we hadn't hosted at my house for years, so I was very excited to go. And there's these 3 people that I'm hanging out with that I don't really know that well, because it's like a friend of a friend or whatever. And they're all like, yeah, like we kind of want the 49ers to win, but either way. And at the end, they're the ones that are crying. Yeah, and I'm sitting on the couch just stunned silent. And they're more angered about it than I was. So it's just funny how that worked. And it's the same thing that happened last year when I went out with a bunch of friends. Some of them aren't really big Eagles fans. They were more upset that the Eagles lost than I was.
I mean, that's just awesome. But I mean, yeah, that happens a lot. I mean, I have some of my friends that do that. It's like, okay, come on now. You know, I don't really care, and then they're all so invested in it. And it's scripted. Who cares? It's annoying, but
I mean, fun. I'm glad though that people are excited to get into sports.
They should be.
And there's so many great sporting events. I mean, we didn't even mention this to start off, and I think, unless there's anything you guys want to add to the Super Bowl, any last thoughts before we transition to something else?
Usher was all right. It was cool.
Yeah,
but
I was excited to see Usher.
Yeah,
I was excited to see
him Usher. And all the girls in the world love to see Usher, man.
One thing I'll say about the halftime Super Bowl performance is Usher brought back a lot of my childhood. Like a lot of the people that he brought out, I didn't really remember who they were until they started playing that one song that was always on when I was a kid. And then especially like when Little John came out, like I didn't really remember who he was until like I forget what song he had, but he had like a popular song that he played at the Super Bowl. And as soon as it came on, I was like, oh, okay, like I know who this is now.
That was definitely it.
It was
with Ludacris came out, and people are very upset that Justin Bieber didn't perform.
Apparently, Usher asked him. Apparently, that's what I saw. He asked him, but Bieber didn't want to because Bieber was there.
Bieber was there.
They showed him. Apparently, but I don't know if Usher. I don't know. I saw on Instagram. Apparently, Usher did ask him to come on and play, but he just didn't feel like it, which I don't blame him, to be fair.
Interesting. So, since there's really not too much to add on to the Super Bowl, we sort of talked about that. You guys see Caitlin Clark broke the women's record for scoring last night?
For college basketball?
Yeah, for Iowa, yeah. She got it from the logo, too.
That was crazy.
She's like, I had to do it from the logo. Yeah. I respect it.
So, my friend sent me a meme today, and it was a picture of her in a Sixers jersey, and it says, the Sixers missing piece.
Look, I know people are going to make jokes like, oh, it's just a women's player, this or that. The tickets to the Iowa game yesterday, courtside, were over $1,000.
For a college women's game, that's great.
It's awesome to see. And if this draft class works out the way it does, because Caitlin Clark still has a year left, first of all, she's going to break the all-time scoring record, which is held by Pete Maravich for men's or women's.
Yep.
She's less than 100 points away from that now.
This is crazy.
She put up 49 points yesterday in the record game.
College is crazy.
For 30, it was either 39 or 40. I think it was 49, which is just insane that she does that consistently.
Yeah.
So she'll break Pete Maravich's record. But on the bigger point, she still has a year left of eligibility in college basketball, so she could decide to stay in college.
I mean, she's definitely making more money in college than she.
I would imagine with NIL,
because that's what Angel Reese is too. They're making way more money, which I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Why not stay?
Yeah. But so what could happen is that you could have a draft class with Angel Reese Caitlin Clark, Paige Rickers from UConn.
Oh, yeah.
That draft class.
Who's going number 1? Probably.
Caitlin. It would have to be. It would have to. I mean, Paige is really, really good.
Yeah.
The biggest issue I have with Paige is that she's still coming back from ACL, and UConn isn't up there with the same teams that.
Oh, they're not? I'm not good with women's basketball.
Yeah, they're like
college.
15th right now, which is good, but I mean,
horrible, but
where they have
usually UConn for basketball is just great in general.
Yeah.
But, I mean, usually aren't they always up there for women's?
Yeah.
I mean, at least the men's team, I feel like they haven't really been since like Shabazz Napier had.
Well, they won the championship
They won
last year,
year.
and they're second this year.
Oh yeah,
So
Like,
their men's
UConn's
team's
still
been
crazy, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's
crazy.
And what's weird is that this is the first time in a while where I can say their men's team is definitely better than the women's team.
Yeah, because it was like for the women's, I was like a staple.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go there, and that's like the number 1 team. So,
What about? Do you guys think Villanova's gonna?
dude, they're looking bad.
They're not.
They're not good, man.
So-
Nova's not
Since the
looking good.
national championship, they just went.
Yeah. And what could be crazy, I don't know the last time this happened, but this might be the second year in a row where there's no Big 5 representation in the tournament.
Yeah, like I kind of want to see like where they all went wrong, like why they went from being one of the top schools in the country to like not really having that much talent anymore. Because like you would think once you win a national championship, like everybody's gonna want to come and play there. Like I know we don't have Jay Wright anymore, so that might be a part of it. But like still, I mean, I don't really.
Well, it comes down to recruiting, and I mean, just depends. I mean, there are people getting offers from other schools.
Yeah.
Do you want to go play in Villanova, Pennsylvania? So it's just there's a lot of factors that goes into it for all the sports and where people decide to go. But I mean, yeah, I mean, you would think a good amount of people would want to go there because you know it's a good program. But I mean, you never know. A lot of factors.
I wonder what makes people come to LaSalle for sports.
D1.
It's D1, probably getting a lot of money off.
Yeah.
Not gonna.
Yeah, that definitely
probably
helps.
why.
It helps.
Ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing too is that LaSalle has gotten really consistent at getting guys who either have transferred here from bigger schools, or in Josh Nickelberry's case, he was also a transfer, came from Louisville to here and then went to Florida State as a grad transfer. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys that they've gotten because of that. And the other thing too, when you look at it, a lot of guys that are really undersized that aren't heavily recruited in the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I understand that Cleo Brantley and Jameer Brickus aren't top-sized point guards. I would still be happy to have them with their scoring effort and the effort that they put on the court every single time over some of these guys I see at other D1 schools.
Yeah.
What is Bronny James Jr. actually doing for USC?
Nothing.
Coming off he's getting a lot of people to the games. That's what he's doing.
For a team that's look, I understand.
Crap.
Yeah, I understand that he's also dealing with health issues, so I don't want to knock him too much.
Still.
But he's being talked about as trying to go into this year's draft, playing for a school that is the second worst in the Pac-12 for a team that doesn't really have any basketball history. And this is who teams are going for because of your name rather than what you can actually do on the court.
No.
To me, that's upsetting.
It is, and I don't think. And the thing is about like in the NBA, they don't care that your name is Jane. If you're not good enough, they don't care. You're not going to get a
Saw
spot.
that with the Mello brothers.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Speaking of college sports, one thing I'm excited for that they actually just released the trailer for is the new NCAA football.
Oh my God, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
They haven't released one, I think, since 2010, maybe
14.
14
14 was the last one.
So
I'm
it's
gonna
been
play the crap out of that.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So hopefully everything works out and they can get all the like images and likenesses. And
I think they got it all because I mean it's coming out in the summer. They said.
Yeah.
I mean they've been saying that for years, and then the release date comes, and we weren't able to get this or this done for some reason. We're gonna push it back even farther.
There was two teams, Notre Dame and Northwestern, that were talking about not being in it. So I don't know if they were able to work out a contract with either of those.
But also,
I mean, I would
who
be
cares
fine
about
playing
Notre
the
Dame
game
and Northwestern?
without
Like, come
Notre.
on. Like, I don't care about Notre Dame. I don't care. I want to play college football.
Yeah, I feel that. The one thing that I hope they bring back eventually, because they had this in the early NCAA games was the FCS schools.
Yeah.
They don't have them anymore.
They
What are the SCF schools?
Villanova, like the really small ones,
Yeah.
North Dakota State, Villanova, all those tiered
Yeah,
teams,
they got it,
basically.
dude. It's be so fun.
Does Villanova have a
awesome.
football team?
Yeah,
Yeah, they do.
They have won a national championship in 2009, 2008.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They make the playoffs every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as big as
No,
the
yeah.
basketball program,
Yeah.
but
And there's a few schools in Colorado where I'm from that they're FCS, so
yeah.
I know a few of them.
So
That'd be so.
I hope they bring their
awesome.
stack eventually.
That'd be so much fun. And even I never. Did you play the basketball games? I never
Couple-
did.
a little bit.
I never
Yeah.
did.
I played them, but the graphics on them were so. I mean, I know it was an
It
older.
was old.
It was an older system, but like, just like I've tried playing them like recently, and like the graphics just make me so mad because I'm so used to playing just like a high quality game now, and then
Yeah.
I'm trying to play that, and it's like everything's blurry, and I'm just.
But
like,
that's what makes it so beautiful.
It
Is the
does.
oldness of it is great, man.
My favorite thing that we did with our old NCAA basketball game, me and my brother, we changed the rosters.
Mhm.
So we added players from like older generations. So we
Yeah.
made Shaquille O'Neal and like create a
Uh-huh.
player.
That's
We made
awesome.
Michael Jordan.
Yep.
So that was really fun. I think that wraps up the other sports part of this conversation. So we're now going to go into Philly sports.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So it's been a weird past week. Sixers.
It's been interesting.
Yeah, we talked a lot about what would happen with the trade deadline.
Yep.
Some guys have played really well. The team as a whole is not. But
Yeah, it's
certain
similar
guys
to
have.
that. But I mean, like Buddy Hield, we know stepped up. Was it Council had a fairly good game.
Yeah, that's one
19
person
points.
I kind of want to. I've never heard of him before until I was actually out at Deeks with some of my friends for the Sixers game, and I look up and Ricky Council's shooting a three, and I'm like, who's that?
Who's
like,
this guy?
Like I've never really. Is he new or?
He's been a two-way player
Yeah, he's
for a
been
while.
two-way.
He's come in at certain points.
Yeah.
Don't ever expect this from him again. 'cause
No,
it's not
he'll
gonna
never.
happen.
He'll never do it again. But it was great to see.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's fair. I mean, we just need people to step up when Embiid's not here, and at least at like one game, someone step up. That usually doesn't step up. Someone needs to, like, step up at least one game. And that game, Council did a little bit. It was only 19 points, but I mean, who cares? What?
Yeah, and another thing that kind of made me mad was when they asked Kelly Oubre. So I have it pulled up on my phone. So they asked him like what went wrong tonight, and after going 4 for 11 for 9 points, his response was, "I was in the corner the whole game. I gotta wait to get the ball instead of being involved into the action and stuff." So like
What game was that?
that was the most recent game, the Miami game.
Mm.
So I mean, Oubre, he's a good player, but like, I don't know. I just
Well, he's actually, to be fair, besides the Heat game, he was actually doing fairly well, and he was stepping up a little bit. He was getting at least in the 20s, and he was
I
fairly
just
proficient. I can't remember how efficient he was, but
I just feel like with him, it's like some games he'll have a stretch of really good games, and then he'll just fall off and just not really do much. And I just feel like we need someone that can constantly, especially without Joel, someone that can put up Joel numbers. Like obviously, maybe not Joel numbers, but like
I was about to say
like a
That's what I was
decent
saying.
amount of points consistently every game, and I just don't really think that we have that. And like I know we have Tyrese and Tobias and stuff, but like I just feel like without Joel, the team, like I don't want to say they're lost, but like
No, they are.
They
Yeah.
are, no,
They're-
they
they're
are a
really
loss.
Yeah,
It's like when
I just-
any big team they lose
Yeah.
their best player, their host. That's just
they
how
don't really
it
know
is.
what to do. And
Yeah.
Like
I
the-
mean, thankfully, they got those trades right before the All-Star break.
Yeah,
So now you've got a week to come up with a better game plan with the guys that you have.
yeah.
But other than that, yeah, this team, look, when you lose to the Hawks by 6, the Hawks are fine, but they're not anything special.
Yeah,
You only
they're not-
beat the Wizards. You said, Brayden, last week that if the Sixers had lost to the Wizards, you wouldn't have even come on.
Which they were close
It
in that
was
game.
119 to 113.
And like, well, at half, they're only up by what was it 2? Or
Yeah.
it was close at half. That was the thing. Well, they took the lead, and then they just it got so close. I was like, I'm not even gonna go on. This is
Yeah.
but we won. It's whatever.
Yeah, and then they beat the Cavs in a really close game. I was surprised about that one.
I think everyone in the NBA was surprised.
Yeah, and then the loss to the Heat right before the break.
Yeah.
It's a disappointing loss.
Close one, 5 points, but
yeah,
it's whatever. We move on.
Another thing I saw in the NBA, I don't know if you guys really follow any other teams, but apparently Isaiah Stewart was punching on...
I saw that.
I can't pronounce his first name, but do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw he was punching.
Is he on the Suns?
I'm not sure. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I forgot who was the player, but I know I remember seeing that with Isaiah Stewart. He threw a punch. Was it before game?
Yeah.
Yeah, like before the game when they were walking out or something. I don't know. Get the details on that, Colin.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up.
That's wild.
Yeah, just some.
What's going on with NBA
stuff,
players right now?
I don't know. They're crazy, dude. Which, to be fair, I mean, I'd be crazy if I was them too.
It says Detroit Pistons forward Isaiah Stewart was arrested and cited after an altercation with Phoenix Suns player prior to Wednesday's NBA game.
Which player?
Drew Eubanks.
Oh, Eubanks. Drew Eubanks.
I don't know why I thought it was someone else, but
yeah, Eubanks. That's kind of crazy.
And then
I know he got arrested.
I just thought it was funny because Drew kind of went on social media and was like, I think he posted like that punch was soft, that boy needs help, or like something like that. It was.
This is stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's not the first time Isaiah got in a fight. I don't know if you guys remember the fight he got in a few years ago when he busted up his whole face in the middle of the court and he was bleeding.
I kind of remember that.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that a little bit.
It's just wild. I saw a fight last night between. It was a women's game between Arkansas State and Southern Mississippi. There was people from the fans.
Oh my God!
There was 3 fans that ran into the fight.
It's the most boring teams in the world. Who cares?
It's going to be on the Pistons, the Malice at the Palace all over again.
That's what it looked like. I mean, not to that extent, but it was still crazy. I mean, the other thing too, everyone's like, "Where's the security?" It's like, have you gone to a mid-major basketball game? The security's there because the school pays for it. They're not trying to stop anything.
Yeah.
So there was 5 players kicked out of the game, and then 3 fans were arrested.
That's actually crazy. I'm surprised that wasn't like. I mean, I didn't hear about it.
It was on ESPN posted it on their YouTube page, and I didn't see it on their Instagram, but I know it was on YouTube. But yeah, it was. So anyway, going back to regular basketball and not crazy fights happening. Yeah, which again, bizarre. So, Buddy Hield has been the Sixers' most consistent scorer since the deadline.
Jump, Buddy.
Yeah. Tyrese Maxey heading to his first All-Star game. Are you guys going to watch the All-Star game, do you think? Or
when is it?
I probably
Sunday
will.
night?
It's on Sunday.
I
probably will.
I mean, it depends. I probably will.
I ain't going to watch the other like stuff. Probably not. Actually, I might watch the dunk contest. Game?
I mean, I kind of want to see.
That's always jokes, dude.
I want to see if Matt McClung can go back to back.
I don't know. I kind of like Jaylen, dude.
Who, Suds?
Brown. Jaylen Brown's in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which I was surprised because usually there's like no big name guys anymore, but he's doing it. So I was like, fair. But
what, Matt McClung isn't a big name superstar?
I mean, dunking, yeah, I guess. But what is he on Orlando's G League team now?
Is he on Orlando's now?
I think he's on Orlando's now.
Oh, I don't even know.
He's not, I mean, obviously way better than me. But like, he's not like he's not like he's this insane guy. He's not even in the NBA. Like
G League MVP. Yeah.
So funny, dude.
Anyway, I'll be paying attention on Maxey does. If I watch or not, maybe.
I mean, he'll get like 5 minutes probably.
Yeah.
Like nothing crazy, but you know what?
Good for him for being named the All-Star team.
Oh, that's awesome. And he wasn't like a sub either.
No.
He was in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great.
Yeah. So, Sixers.
Let's talk about the Eagles.
Yeah. So.
Oh, this pissed me off already.
So, yeah, if you want to, you jump in, you guys first, and then I'll give my take afterwards.
You can go, Colin.
So, like, one thing I just find funny is, like, Nick Sirianni, instead of, focusing on the Hassan Reddick situation or, like, trying to bring in more players or, like, trying to, just improve the team, instead he took the whole coaching staff down to Geno Steaks to get food. And then I just saw it on Instagram. I guess they posted it, and it was like Nick Sirianni brings the new coaching staff in for food, and it's just the Eagles coaching staff.
Well, what's wrong with that? They're used to. Well, I mean, some of them have already live in Philly, but they gotta get. I don't think they're focused on that more than the Reddick situation.
Yeah, I know.
But that was just like a.
And it's just a joke, but
yeah.
I'm just in general, I don't know. I just feel like Nick Sirianni.
You don't like Nick?
Not really. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of mixed on him because, for example, this season we started off really good and then we kind of just went downhill, and we can't really blame the players for everything. I feel like the coaching.
Well, that's why both coordinators got their butt out of Philly.
Okay, but at the same time, Nick is also the head coach, so he also kind of, I feel like, has a.
Well, yeah. Aidan, what do you think? What's your feelings on that?
I don't think you can fully clean house
a
year after making it to the Super Bowl.
And he made the playoffs still.
Yeah,
so,
and they still made the playoffs. They still started out 10-1, as disappointing as the ending was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a complete overreaction. And the other thing, too, is that I think the Eagles were smart because they waited until the next coaching cycle. So I do think that Sirianni is definitely on a hot seat. I don't think it's the hottest seat in the NFL. But it's definitely... The Eagles are definitely keeping their eye out for other coaches and see how Nick handles the situation this year. There was 9 coaching hires this offseason. There's no way the Eagles could have gotten a top-tier signing considering that they would have waited so long.
Well, I mean, isn't Vrabel still out?
He is, but the thing is...
But would you want Vrabel is a question.
Sirianni got to the Super Bowl second year.
I know.
Vrabel had a very talented roster in Tennessee and consistently lost before even making it that far.
Yeah, it's such jokes because one of my good friends at home is a big Tennessee fan.
Oh, really?
So it's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, I like Tennessee. I think that they had a really good roster.
Problem.
And I like Vrabel as a coach, too.
Yeah, I have
I'm
no
just
problem
saying,
with
if
Vrabel.
you're comparing Sirianni and Vrabel, look, if Vrabel's still around next year, and there's going to be other coaches around next year, too, if that's the decision you want to go with, fine. I just don't think you can do it the year after making the Super Bowl and still making the playoffs.
I'm with you. We got to give Sirianni one more year. Yeah. I mean, he fits Philly. Like, just his personality, who he is, he fits Philly. Yeah. But I give him another year. I mean, if we have, how the end of our season was this year, if that's, how our season is, then, get rid of him.
And I mean... Chip Kelly's back at OC at Ohio State, so he's trying to make a run back into the NFL.
It's true. I mean, I
don't think the Eagles will necessarily give him a look, but
I don't think that would happen. And there's always how do you feel about college coaches going to? I mean, obviously going from NFL to college and back to NFL is different, but how do you feel just college coaches going straight from college to the NFL for the first time? I hate it too.
I hate it because. So Chip Kelly and Urban Meyer are the 2 most recent big names. Now, completely different circumstances, but...
The Urban Meyer.
Both of them had major control issues.
Yep.
Both of them wanted to act like they did around college guys.
You can't.
No.
These are grown. These are grown men.
Yeah.
And you can't control them. They control you.
Yeah.
So, and that was especially with Urban Meyer, his best thing, because he's great, obviously, college coach, his best thing was recruiting.
Yeah.
Which you don't do in the NFL.
No.
You don't do that.
No. And you don't have power over these guys either in the same way. I mean, Chip Kelly cleaned house and completely ruined the Eagles roster. The fact that he won a Super Bowl 2 years after him getting fired is a magic trick that Doug Peterson was able to pull out. And I will
Good job, Doug.
Yeah. I don't understand how he was able to do that. And, I don't really like it. Now, you mentioned coaches going from the NFL back to college.
Like Harbaugh did.
Harbaugh did it.
Well, we'll see how he goes now.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Chargers, we'll see. It'll be interesting, but I mean, I like Harbaugh. I think he'll be fine.
Pete Carroll did it.
You're right. I forgot about that. Yeah. I forgot about that.
He had a really bad run in New England and then went to USC and completely revived the program. Obviously, everyone knows about the stuff that happened while he was at USC.
We won't talk about that part.
No, we won't talk about that part because I still count both those national championships regardless of what the NCAA says. And also give Reggie Bush his Heisman back, but again, completely different conversation. And then goes to Seattle and wins. So I think it can happen. But I think the Eagles are smart in the way that they hire the coaches, where they're looking at guys that are coordinators in the league that have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And I get that people want to say, oh, Nick didn't call the plays when he was at Indy or LA. but he worked with Philip Rivers.
Yeah.
Philip Rivers a couple times. He did a great job in India, I thought. He deserved to get a chance. And I thought the Eagles have done a good job writing it out and seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
Like I said, you don't want to fire a coach too quickly.
No, and well, my favorite. Do you remember when we first hired him? Like all the jokes at the press conferences, especially like Pat McAfee showed.
There is
trolling him.
There is
So
an
funny.
episode of Sports Talk Philadelphia that I have to say I'm not very proud of anymore.
Oh, were we making fun of him?
Yeah, we were. We definitely were. Again, not proud of it, but it happened.
I
and
want
at the
dogs.
time, look, at the time it
Dog
wasn't.
mentality.
Yeah, at the time it wasn't controversial to say that Nick was sort of talking a bit more than he should have. But that's just the
probably.
type of guy. What we learned is that that's the type of guy he is. And look, Charlie Manuel came in, was super unpopular with the media. The fact that he has a very Southern accent, the fact that he hadn't coached that much Major League Baseball, and yet won a World Series really quickly.
Sure.
So you can be a coach that's not popular with the fan base, popular with the media right away, and win them over because you're a very good coach. This is why I think when you look at coaching hires in Philadelphia, there's certain ones that work and certain ones that don't. The ones that do are the guys who are able to relate to the team, relate to the fan base, and win. Doc Rivers is considered one of the best coaches in NBA history for whatever reason, since he only has one championship, but he never connected with the fan base at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you lost him. The Flyers have had a couple of coaches.
So I was going to say, speaking of Doc Rivers, people think that he's running Milwaukee into the ground now too.
Oh, he easily is.
Yeah, and I don't.
What are they? They have 2 wins since he got hired, something like that.
And you have Giannis and Damian Lillard, and now Pat Bev on the team. How do you lose with that team?
Yeah, they're 2-4 since he got hired, I think.
That's crazy, man.
Their defense has gotten somehow worse.
Well, without Drew Holiday, especially.
But their offense has also gone down too.
I know, it's just, which is kind of crazy because everyone thought Bucks were gonna be good, and they have a good team.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Doc.
Yeah. So going back to Hassan Reddick, I think that there will be a contract worked out for him.
There's gotta be.
If not, the Eagles really have the upper hand in this one because he's still under contract for another year.
Yeah.
They're just saying like, oh, we'll ship you if we can't negotiate the contract. Whether they do that or not, I don't know. What I do know is that what they could look to do is get another player at a different position, probably linebacker or cornerback, if they feel that Nolan Smith is ready to take over as pass rusher.
It's you never know.
Yeah.
So he very well could be, and we never know. But it's just it's a tough situation that we're in because Hassan Reddick is not young. Mm-hmm. He's up there. This was obviously his past couple years was his prime of his career. So now he's hit that 30 mark. He's gonna go down.
Yeah.
Do we want to pay him a crap load of money for him to be like by 33, 32 at the end, and he's garbage?
I've heard it's around $20 million that he's asking for.
I mean, he has been amazing, but it's
don't
going
think
down from here for him.
I get it's going down, but I feel like he's one of those guys that we don't want to lose to another team, and even if he's...
I know, but what if now, what if we trade him for whatever it is?
For who? Who do you think would be a good trade, like in your opinion?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. But if we do, I don't want to trade him this year. I say we keep him out for this last year. If we lose him for nothing, that'd be bad, but I don't want to pay him $20 million, because you have to think about it. Because if we give him a big contract with a lot of money, then we put ourselves in more debt. We have a crappy old vet on our team. We can't bring in new people.
Yeah.
That's a tough and horrible situation to be in.
Yeah.
I just don't like. I love Hassan Reddick, but I think from here on out, it's going to go down. And what if we do trade him for whatever it is? We may think. What if he's what if he then hits the trash can? He's not efficient. He's horrible.
Yeah.
So I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
I just think obviously I could be wrong about everything, but I think from here on out, it's just going to slow. I don't think he's going to be garbage next year, but I think he's just going to slowly go down from here. I think he hit his prime. And I just think from here I don't know. I just don't think he's going to be the same as he was.
Yeah. And I mean, the Eagles haven't said they're looking for anyone in particular. They just said if you want a trade, we will grant
Yeah,
that
because
to you.
I don't even know what you trade. I don't know who would trade for him.
Yeah.
And because I think other teams look at how the same way as like I said. It's like this is an older guy
Right.
who's already in his prime, so maybe for a year, but
Yeah.
you don't want to pay him $20+ million.
And that's the other issue. What do you give up for a guy you might only keep for a year?
No, because every other team has the leverage in that
Yeah.
offer. So it's just
So I mean,
what you maybe get like a third or a fourth.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
yeah, and I mean, I trust Howie to make the right
Yeah, I
decision
do
on this
too.
one. If he thinks there is a partner that would take Reddick and we get a lot in return, I think he would do it. If he tests out the market and there's nothing there,
Just keep him.
they'll just keep him for a year, and then if
let
his
him go.
value goes down, it doesn't really hurt the team because he's already under contract anyway.
Yeah,
So then next year you just let him go.
I think that is the best option
Yeah.
personally. I think keep him around, just ride it out. I mean, if he's like really good again,
Yeah.
and our best player on defense by far, then that's something to talk about. But
Yeah.
I think for now, I think what you said is how we go about it.
Yeah, that's probably what will happen. But I guess we'll see and talk about it. So, a couple more things we have left for Philadelphia sports. The Flyers have now won 4 straight since the
Heck
All-Star game, and they are now playing a huge game against the Devils at
Yep.
MetLife Stadium. Guys, are you going to be watching this one?
I'm definitely. I don't know if I can't catch it. I'm definitely watching the highlights,
Yeah.
obviously. But I mean, I will try to watch it. I mean, it'd be more fun to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Being there would be awesome. Do you know how much those tickets probably go for?
I haven't even looked.
There's got to be
Not even
expensive,
looked,
but
yeah.
I mean,
That's a good question. I'm about to look.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that will be a really good game. I've always loved the stadium game aspect.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think one of the cooler ones was the one that the Flyers played at Lake Tahoe. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yep, I do. Yeah, that was sick,
That
man.
was so cool.
That was awesome. I mean, I just because you don't think about having a hockey in like the open
Yeah.
stadium. It's awesome. Even like, do you remember it was this year? Was it Nebraska's volleyball? Was it or basketball? It was. Yeah, they were volleyball. They played in the stadium.
Yeah,
And they sold it out.
It was. So,
I mean,
yeah.
I was just looking at the ticket prices. I mean, for one ticket, it's like $64.
That's not
But
bad.
where's that? Is that like the
Says
nosebleeds?
Section 303, row 19.
Let me see the
303 is that's top
yeah.
level.
That's
Yeah, that's
you might
like-
as well be home
Yeah.
in your house watching on
I'll
TV.
just be streaming that on my phone. at
Yeah,
that point.
there's no reason to buy
I
and
mean,
sit up
lower
there.
levels 160, so you're probably paying like
It's not horrible.
a little over 200. So that's not terrible.
I mean, if you're a big hockey fan,
Yeah.
then screw it. And if you're in the area,
Yeah,
but
so-
Yeah.
3 tickets, 160 each. So that's not like terrible.
It's not
terrible,
bad,
But also, it's the Devils and Flyers.
Right. Well, so the thing is, though, the Devils right now are the 4th seed
Yeah, they're not bad.
in the Metro. They're fighting for the Flyers for that 3rd spot
They are.
because the way the hockey playoffs work, it's kind of a weird system.
Yeah, it
so you
is.
get 3 teams from one division, 3 teams from the other in each conference, and then 2 wildcard spots.
Mhm.
So right now, the Metro, you have your 3 playoff teams. Flyers are one of them. And then none of the Metro teams, as of this moment, are considered a playoff team.
Yeah.
Even if the Flyers were to get passed by the Devils, they would fall to 6 total. So the 4th and 5th teams, I think I believe one of them's Toronto, so that loss hurts the Flyers in the wild card at least, but they still got a point, so they're still up on the Devils in that regard.
Yeah.
So I think that this game is one of the most important games.
It is
if
an
not,
important game.
If not the most
Definitely.
important game that the Flyers have played since the 2020 playoffs.
Yeah, it is a very important game. I mean, it's even crazy that the Flyers are in this position.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously my hockey knowledge is not greatest thing in the world, but I mean, I didn't think the Flyers would be this good.
No.
But I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
We take it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I don't know because it's not like I mean they're definitely not expected to win. So I think
Right.
just going in as the underdog and maybe there's a chance I think would be
Yeah.
great. But I mean, it's just nice that they're here.
I was actually at a game recently when they played the Coyotes, and I don't know. I mean, I know they did get to win and it did go into overtime, but I just feel like the first kind of start like to the game was just so slow.
Yeah.
And even though the Flyers had a lot more shots on goal than the
Coyotes.
Yeah, then the Coyotes, they just couldn't get anything in the net.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously it's hockey, so it's a lot harder to score goals and stuff,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just feel like maybe if we get off to like a faster pace and we set the tempo earlier, then that could be better for us.
Yeah, in recent games, I've noticed they have done that, but they still do have that same issue of not being able to consistently score. Which, it's great that you can put shots on the net and put up 30 a game, which they did for a really long stretch. But if you're not scoring at a high rate, it doesn't really matter how many times you shoot. So hopefully they can get off to a really fast start on Saturday's game. That one's going to be on prime time, nationally televised. So very excited for that. Very good for the Flyers. And then before we wrap up the Philadelphia portion of this show, the Phillies, spring training started. They're down in Clearwater.
Heck yeah. I'm excited for baseball to start back up. Getting ready for it, man.
All I know is, as far as the Phillies, if we gave Bryce Harper that much money and he doesn't give us a World Series by the time he's out of Philly.
It's more than him.
Oh yeah, I know it's more than him, but I just remember, like, he was supposed to be our savior. He was supposed to be the one that saves Phillies, like, baseball, and he's been good in everything.
Pretty good.
I just feel like we need
pretty good.
Well, yeah, but I shouldn't say pretty good. He's been really good, but I just feel like we need to bring in maybe more talent to help him, so he's not just doing everything. Like, I know we have a lot of players already that are good, but maybe just try and bring in a few more pieces to try and get us to the World Series.
I just can't think of where.
There's no one. Yeah. That's the only thing. The Phillies have the roster. There could be a few more moves, maybe get more for the bullpen, whatever, and then maybe dealing with the Marsh injury, bringing someone else in. But right now, it's kind of this is it.
Yeah.
This is our team, and I mean, I would say probably the third best team, like just on paperized roster, in our division, probably behind the Dodgers and Braves, maybe.
Yeah, when it comes to the National League,
definitely
National those League. Teams are ahead.
I feel like we're third in National League.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Harper has how many years on this?
So, Harper was signed
for
in
13 years?
2019, so that's 13, so he's played 5. So, he's 8 years left?
I mean, I think he could. I mean, do you guys think the Phillies could somehow get a World Series in the next 8 years?
The thing is, and this is what's always really scared me, is that the Braves have a much younger roster on a payroll that's much smaller than the Phillies, because what they did that was really smart is they locked up their young guys to long-term contracts on less money than a lot of other teams did, and they still have only won one World Series. Mm-hmm. Now, baseball is a really weird sport. The Atlanta Braves of the 90s won 19 National League East championships. National League East. They won the division 14 times in a row. Only won one World Series. Only made it a couple of times. So the Phillies, with the payroll they have, the fact that they are the second best roster in their own division, regardless of the rest of the National League, and the Dodgers have outspent anyone on a level that we have not seen in this sport ever.
But I mean, honestly, I think with them overpaying, I don't think they're winning. I think they're going to spend all this money, and I think upcoming years, chances are they're going to get at least one. In at least next 5, 6, 10, 7-year span, most likely they're going to get one. But I just have a feeling this year they're not. Because all the hype is they're going to win all this Ohtani now. I at least think this year they're not going to win. Yeah. I just have a weird gut feeling. But
I feel the same way that the Dodgers have a chance to win this year, and a great chance to win this year. But I do have the same sneaking suspicion that might not work out the way they want to. Obviously, Ohtani needs to stay healthy.
Yeah,
Yamamoto, I am excited to see.
Yeah, he'll be fun to watch.
But you don't always know how these guys are going to pitch once they go. I mean, he was great in Japan. Don't get me wrong.
He was great, yeah.
He was an awesome pitcher in Japan. Will it translate? Sometimes it takes guys a couple of years.
Yeah, and that's that's not something that's disrespectful or bad. That's just what it is.
It's
you
almost
give him a couple years.
Yeah, people don't realize when you watch international baseball, it's almost a completely different sport.
Yeah.
Not in the way that, like, the rules are different or anything, but the strike zones are smaller in some leagues. The amount of power that you have is different per league. The way the stadiums are set up are different, so that makes it a little bit harder.
I want to go to a Japan baseball game. Those things look fun.
The most fun ones, I have to say, the South Korean ones.
Really?
They have fans that are like cheerleaders there.
I don't think I've seen anything of South Korea.
I only watched it during COVID, so they didn't have any fans or anything, but they have cheerleaders there. The games are like almost like rock and roll concerts. I would definitely go to a South Korean baseball
game. You know what sucks? I don't know if they do it in South Korea, but I know in Japan, like, they can't keep the balls. You get it?
I don't know.
In home runs. Well, I've seen. Yeah. Because YouTuber Zach Hamble, I think it was several years ago, a video, but it was like, he got a home run or a toss-up, whatever, and he had to give it back.
That's crazy.
Because it's a rule or whatever, but he legitimately had to, like, give the ball back. He couldn't keep it. Wild. Yeah. Huh. So that's just a little one bad thing about it. But, I mean, the atmosphere looks great.
Yeah.
So, definitely.
Definitely very cool. Before we wrap up, Brayden Marsh underwent knee surgery. Expected for opening day. We'll see if that happens. If not, the Phillies might look to trades for someone. They still have Christian Pache, Jay Cave, who I don't love either of them, but they're fine substitutes.
Not the great, but I mean, if just for a short period of time, it wouldn't kill us.
Yeah.
But, may look for a trade. We'll see. But,
Agreed. So before we wrap up, we're now going to go to LaSalle Sports, which
don't look very good. Sorry, folks.
Yeah. Look, the Sixers were bad, and then I see LaSalle Sports. And
It's gotten
way worse. So the men's team we talked about last week, they've been struggling a bit, and then they lost Davidson 71-56. They have one more game this week against UMass on Saturday. So they're on a 5-game losing streak, and then the women are a little bit better than them, only because they are on a 4-game losing streak.
Not the score, though.
No, the score was much worse. They lost to George Washington 71-49, and then play St. Joe's, who
are they good?
21-2.
Oh,
22-2.
Oh God. So this is gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you never know, but also, I'd probably put my money on we're not gonna win that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's always hope. I have more hope for the men's to try and beat UMass.
Yeah.
UMass, they're not the greatest, are they? What's their
No,
record?
They're around 500 in A10 play. UMass is weird, though, because they're one of the few public schools in a very private school-heavy conference.
Yeah, they are.
So they can recruit guys at a much higher level than a lot of other smaller Catholic schools can.
And it's also UMass.
It is also UMass.
It's UMass.
Yeah, I mean, they were great back in the 90s when they had...
Were they?
Oh, man, the coach for Kentucky, John Calipari, was the coach that you...
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, it's not looking so good for our...
Good old LaSalle.
Basketball teams, yeah.
It's okay. It's whatever.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited to see what the A10s bring for both these teams.
Yeah.
Because last year, it was a little bit different. So this year, the men's team got off to a really hot start, have struggled in A10 play.
Which sucks, because, they were good at the start.
Yeah, TBD on what happens in the tournament. However, last year, got off to a super slow start, lost to some really bad teams, or at least teams they should have beaten, and then went on a hot stretch to end the regular season, and then won 2 games in A10 play.
Yep.
Could happen again. The women's teams always finds a way to get at least decent seeding in the top 10.
Yeah.
I don't know if that will happen this year, but there's not a lot of time left, but at the same point, there's still a couple weeks left to improve your record.
Yeah.
The women's team, they have the talent to do it.
Yeah.
They just need to put it together.
Yeah.
And the men's team also has the talent.
They definitely do. I mean, you've seen it in some of the earlier games. Yeah. They have the talent.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's what really sucks is that high point was that loss to Miami. Because everyone, I think, you look at that one, and it's like, this team could be something.
We could have won that game, too. And that would have been awesome, because they would have put us on the map. Because I know a lot of people across the U.S., definitely West Coast, because, all my friends were like, what the heck is LaSalle?
Yeah.
No one knows, because it's still D1, but it's just a little tinier school. So it would put us on the map, beating one of those big schools that put us out there, but... No, it was annoying because St. Joe's beat Villanova, and that kind of put them out there. And St. Joe's is actually having a good year.
Yeah,
they're having actually a pretty good year. So good for them. But
So what's really interesting about the A10 is that it is considered a mid-major conference. However, they always have a couple of teams make the tournament. Last year, there was only one.
Which was surprising because years previous, there's at least 2 to maybe 3.
Yeah.
And now there's only one. Right now, it's only Dayton. But even then, right now,
VCU's really good.
They always make it.
Yeah,
VCU.
so Dayton is now second in the conference because Richmond is.
Yeah, they stunned them.
Yeah.
They beat them. I saw that.
That was an awesome game.
Because what Dayton was, they were nationally ranked. They were like
16.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, I mean, so you could have at least you should have at least those 2.
Yeah.
Richmond only has 1 loss in conference. I think they're like 18-4 or something like that.
Okay.
Um,
And they've made it. I remember they've made it a couple times.
Yeah. So look, obviously we have no idea how the tournament will shake down because every team's ranked. Every team makes it. We're ranked within the system of your conference tournament.
Yeah.
1 to 15. Right now, LaSalle's looking like they're going to be at 15, but we'll see.
Great.
How the hell
It's fantastic.
shakes up. So what you could have is if VCU wins the A10 tournament, they're an automatic bid. Same for Richmond. Same for any other A10 team.
Yeah. So hypothetically,
LaSalle could still make it.
let's just put it out there. Hypothetically, 15 seed. Imagine the story. This tiny little school in North Philadelphia, LaSalle. They're the 15 seed. They go all the way up in the final, win it, and we're in March Madness. How crazy that would be.
As a 16 seed, because there's no way.
No, it would be a 16 seed, but who cares? We made it. You're not expected to win. You're going to get knocked out first round, but you made it.
Yeah.
You made it. That would be a fantastic. Now, one of my brackets would definitely have them winning.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
who cares? But, I mean, that would be amazing.
Yeah. It'd be cool. What's probably going to happen, most likely.
Oh, yeah, it's not happening.
That's not happening.
We're
So,
there.
yeah, going back to reality, what is most likely going to happen is that you've got Richmond most likely winning the A10,
Probably.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
If not,
Maybe
Dayton.
maybe, but
the thing is that Dayton, pretty much throughout everyone's bracketology, they're already in. So they don't have to win the tournament. So therefore, you have a little bit more leeway. And not that always matters because some teams know they have that leeway and still win the tournament anyway. But it takes a lot of pressure off of them.
It does. Definitely.
Where for Richmond and VCU, I would say that the pressure is off of whoever wins.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's at least 2. Maybe VCU gets in as like that first 4.
They could be
that,
one of the first 4.
Yeah,
they definitely could be.
That 4 games that are played in, ironically, Dayton.
Yeah. Wait, so let's say in the March Madness, are you going for the A10 teams, or just because they're rivals with us, do you not want them to win?
I always root for the A10 team. It's the same way that I always root for Big Ten schools because my grandmother went to Northwestern, so I grew up in Big Ten.
That's cool.
So I always, outside of Michigan, because one of my aunts went to Michigan State, but I always root for Big Ten schools. So even though I go to a school in the A10, I want our conference to get more prestige.
That's what I'm saying. I want to get A10, get them out there more.
Yeah.
And let's just give us more love a little bit.
Yeah.
A little more love.
And then same for the women as well. Whoever wins hey, you know what? Even if it's St. Joe's, it's a Philly school.
Yeah,
it's a Philly school. So it's mixed. It's mixed.
That's it. With them, I feel like it's a little different. The teams in the in Philly, it's a little different. I mean, I still liked Villanova.
Yeah.
Like I have no problem with them. I mean, for the men's, they're not gonna probably
good.
make it, are they? But yeah, it's just I feel like with St. Joe's, like the Temple, I don't really want you to win.
Yeah.
But also, it's like it's Philly, but also, and screw you.
Yeah. If you're in, you're in. I guess I'll be, at least if I'm not outwardly rooting for you, I'll be paying attention to how you do.
Yeah.
I'll
give you some
follow
attention.
you. And then we will follow this sport more as it gets going, but lacrosse officially started this afternoon as we're recording.
Sweet. Let's go.
We are very...
Who are they playing?
I forget who they played. I know they play Villanova next week.
Okay.
So that will be a game. I think that's next
Let's go
Wednesday.
lacrosse.
Yeah. So we'll definitely be paying attention to lacrosse as basketball winds down next week.
Mm-hmm.
No more football, although the Daytona 500 is this weekend, and I'm a big fan of that. So
Really? You're a big Daytona fan?
I love the Daytona 500.
I never liked NASCAR at all. I didn't think it was stupid because it's hard and cars going so fast. It's a cool thing. But then recently, over the summer, I kind of got into it a little bit. Not like crazy, but I kind of got like more love for it. It's kind of cool, and my friends are really big. I have some friends that are F1 fans.
Okay.
It's obviously not NASCAR,
Right.
but still in the racing realm. But yeah, it's actually kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. So we will be paying attention to all those sports and more next week.
Yeah.